Hey guys, welcome back. BTCR here, and we're back with our weekly recap of all things Injustice. This is the week of February 9th, 2023. Current challenge is Batman Beyond Animated, or, as we like to call them, Animated Batman Beyond. It is a one-week repeat. The required characters are Harley Quinn, Bane, and Joker, who are available as cheaply as Bronze, Silver, and Silver in the store. His passive is Winning Edge. Upon special attack use, Batman receives a boost for a limited time. 1. Explosive Batarang increases basic damage. 2. Future Bat raises crit chance. 3. The Dark Knight increases crit damage. He's got 1100 attack and 1050 health. And he was last available April 14th, 2022. So he's got low stats, which, isn't really here or there. I mean, you can still make good use of him, as you can see in the video being demonstrated. More detail about his passive. So Special 1, you get a 100% boost to basic damage for 8 seconds with his Explosive Batarang. Special 2 is a 50% boost to crit chance for 10 seconds. And his super, the Dark Knight, will give you a 50% crit damage boost for 15 seconds. What's interesting about him is that his Special 2, unlike a lot of the newer characters who happen to have way higher stats, his Special 2 can knock out more than one opponent. And I'm going to leave some footage here where you can see he does exactly that, knocking all 3 opponents out with one Special 2 in multiplayer. So in the past, I used to avoid playing with him because his stats were low. And with all the gears that can do the same thing, it's harder to strategize around a time-limited effect that only happens when you use specials. And now that I'm making the effort each week to use a team based on either the challenge character or a multiplayer character, I'm kind of warming up to him. The key is taking advantage of his Special 2, using him as the special specialist. And in a lot of ways, maybe even ignoring his passive. The Special 2 increasing crit chance improves the effectiveness of his Special 2, but he's already got a gear loadout that's meant to give him an 80% chance of critical hits. So it improves it marginally. I think if you're using him as anything other than your special specialist and you have Tattoo Totem, he's not going to be that effective or that interesting. So for example, if you use only a Special 1 to boost his basic, 8 seconds, it really doesn't last long enough. And you can get gears that achieve a similar effect, and obviously, when they're wearing gears, it lasts longer. If you use a Special 2 but don't have Tattoo, you don't get much out of the boosted crit chance, because the damage output of specials is way higher than damage output with basic attacks. It costs you 2 bars of power. It's unlikely you're going to have more than 1 bar of power during that time when your crit chance is boosted, so your damage output is low. And then the problem with supers, they just take too long to build up, and unlike Special 1 and Special 2, there's no gear like Tattoo Totem that lets you do another super really fast or get your power back really fast. So you, again, not enough damage output to really take advantage of the crit chance being boosted like that. And again, you can get that from the gear. So what you should be watching is some footage where you might see the one glaring weakness of this team, because there's no real counter to it, is when you're facing a Red Sun Green Lantern team. His specials don't do enough damage, and they don't give you enough of an advantage with his passive to really motor through a Red Sun team. And it's a bit of a struggle, because the Red Sun Green Lantern team doesn't take crit damage, and yeah, it's his passive. Really, the only useful part of it is doing a Special 1. Special 2 and Special 3 are non-existent because, the Red Sun Green Lantern team doesn't take any crit hits. The problem is damage output of doing Special 1 is really low. And then having to do basic attacks after that, yeah, not that great. It's still even much lower than just doing straight Special 2 that doesn't crit. Still, it's a fun team to play because his Special 2 is set up in a way with lots of pauses in the different parts of it. And that's one thing that we didn't used to appreciate, right? That if there's lots of pauses, it means that fewer of the hits of Special 2 whiff if you happen to knock out an opponent in the middle of his Special 2. The pause can be the time that it takes the next opponent to tag in, and then you get the benefit of all the hits. The other thing is that because the last hit of Batman Special 2 does the most damage, you don't have to worry about trying to make the first hit of a Special 2 connect. Does a decent amount, but relatively small amount of damage. It's back end loaded enough that when you see Master's Death Cart shove the opponent far enough back that the first hit would miss, you can do that if they're a danger for hitting you right back if you're going to be waiting until you close the gap. So, for example, if they've got a bar power already, you know what? Don't bother waiting. Just lay a Special 2 on them right away. Overall, it's fun. He's fun to play because of his Special 2, but he could be a lot better with maybe longer lasting effects of his passive. And it wouldn't be particularly unbalancing because none of them are that great. And if they lasted longer, then it would really be way more useful. At this point, we're really just taking advantage of Tantu Totem and Master's Death Cart like we are with everybody else. So that's 142 weeks of a repeating pattern that first appeared May 2020. That is 3 complete runs of a 43-week cycle, plus 13 weeks in the 4th cycle. If the pattern holds, next week will be Raven Prime. And 43-week cycle means that we're missing 23 challenge characters because there's 66 different challenge characters. This week's multiplayer reward is Riddler's Cane, which becomes Riddler's Staff. Its effects when maxed out are a 35% max health increase, a 15% experience bonus to the team, and a 21% chance to blink against Special 1, and that last one is the Evolved ability. It was last available July 7th, 2022. That's 110 weeks in a row of a consistent pattern, more than 2 years. 3 complete cycles of a 31 reward sequence, and that's the 17th in a 4th cycle. Unlike the challenge cycle, nothing is missing from the multiplayer rewards, and if the pattern holds, next week should be Suicide Squad Joker Unhinged, the worst Suicide Squad character. But we'll get more into that next week. So I think the last time we were able to check or got confirmation is that it's a little bit broken. And if we still had accounts that were accumulating XP, we would be able to tell you and confirm it. But it used to be that it didn't give bonus XP, or it would only give it to the card in the first slot. So maybe you want to help us out, let us know in the comments if it's still broken like that and if it's not giving out XP properly like it promises. And I'll say this, even if that ability worked, it's not that great for what's supposed to be a legendary gear, right? You've only got 3 abilities. One's kind of broken. The max health boost, you can get that from other gears. And Blink on Special 1 is potentially interesting, but Tantu Totem has basically made it obsolete. Especially at best, it just dodges. So, for example, Wally West, Dawn of Justice Batman, they both have passives that will do some damage after dodging a special. And I think both of them have a higher chance of dodging a special. 1 in 5 chance, though, I mean, it does feel about right. Too much would be unbalancing. Too little is waste of gear slot. I am not sure what the equivalence should be, but it doesn't seem unreasonable to want a gear slot to be about as good as a passive ability. So when it compares so unfavorably to Wally West or Dawn of Justice Batman, it feels a little bit like a ripoff. And I guess if we didn't have those points of comparison with those 2 characters' passives, it wouldn't seem so bad. But Legendary Gear should have more than 1 interesting ability. So, in the store, Rebirth Raven Challenge Pack for 200,000 credits. It means that you get a 6.16% chance of getting the character instead of 2.86%. We talked about it a few weeks ago when the Rebirth Jessica Cruz Challenge Pack came, and it's been there now for 5 weeks, which is a weird kind of thing. That percentage improvement in getting it is not great. It's not worth the extra credits unless that's the only challenge character you need, which is, for most players, not true. So you're just better off doing the regular challenge pack and selling back the characters that you don't need and keeping the handful that you might want. The other new pack this week is the Sorcery Pack 1. It's $24.99. You get Zatanna, Raven, and Kandak Black Adam. Not really much to say. They're all challenge characters, and I mean, Raven's going to be next week. That's always the trouble with packs like this, is that if any of the characters are easily available, it means that it's not as good a use of your money. And the character bundle Rebirth team, it's got a second week going on, $24.99. We talked about it last week. What else? Oh, other packs are hanging around. Character bundle Batman Universe, 62nd week. Most Wanted pack, 69th week. And our celebration packs for 300 nth medal. So Aquaman celebration pack has been 56 weeks in the Shazam, and Joker packs have been 54 weeks. Phantom Zone is still finished based on the sort of regular pattern. It should probably be coming back next week. And Fight 62 is still broken. Last weekend's breakthrough for golds was, as expected, Bane, Killer Frost, and Ares. This coming weekend's then is probably going to be Sinestro, Green Arrow, and Scorpion, based on the pattern that we've seen for quite a long time now. Got a link in the description to a Reddit thread from Devlin16, one of the mods there, that goes over the complete breakthrough cycle. And as far as the current glitches go, we will go into more detail every time something significant changes, which, spoiler alert, did not happen this week. However, even if nothing changes, we still do a more detailed wrap-up and review once a month, the first week of every month. Most recently, that was a recap from February the 2nd. And you can also see a video tutorial for every working glitch in our playlist. We call it Current Working Glitches, linked in the description of this video. The only thing that's probably worth mentioning for this week is that the challenge reset glitch has been confirmed to be working on this week's animated Batman Beyond challenge. And that's it. So a big thank you to our patrons on Patreon. That would be Corey Ashcraft, supporting us at the top tier Last Word, and Michael DeVries, Irvin Ruiz, Hoshi127, and Drew Chapman, who are supporting us on the credited level. And also a big thank you to all the supporters who have been supporting us during the pandemic. And thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Komoda.